the Kingdom of Kodiak. I'm Kodiak. With me today is the WAK podcast, Sir Flojan Thunderhammer, Squire Teflon Frosthammer, and Man-at-Arms, current King of Neverwinter?
Winter's Edge.
Winter's Edge, Cabbage Tidehammer. Welcome to KOK. How you guys doing?
Thanks for having us on.
Thanks for having us. Yeah.
We've seen a lot of each other today. I did the WAK podcast earlier today. That'll be up at some point, and we will plug that at the end of this episode. But let's get in to the bare necessities. Sorry, Sin. Let's start with Cabbage on this question. How long have you been playing Amtgard?
So I started in, I want to say 2008. I took about a 5-year break when my son was born, just because I was doing the single dad thing to get myself together. All in all, I would say close to 10 years of time in game, with just that break kind of splitting the time.
Okay, fantastic. Sir Flo?
I started in 2000. I graduated high school and got into college a little early, and there were some really weird people out in the quad hitting each other with what were at the time inch thick wall PVC swords with camp mat covering them. And I thought that looked fun, which should tell you quite a bit about me, and decided to look into it more. Turns out that they were a splinter group to another group here in Knoxville. I got the other group's contact information, and I've been playing ever since.
Fantastic. And Teflon?
I've been playing since 2002, I'm pretty sure. I too took a break, but it was just a little bit of burnout from the game for 3 years, I think, something like that. So whatever the math for that makes.
Definitely makes math, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Around 15 years.
Something like that.
That's awesome. That's a long line to all be in the same belt line as well. So super cool. The reason why I asked that first question to Cabbage is so we can direct the second question at Sir Flo. Because I have a little bit of inside information, but I don't have enough inside information. So the second question of the bare necessity, Sir Flo, has been altered.
Okay.
What are all the names that you've used since the first day of playing Amtgard?
Yes.
So Flow was actually given to me. We don't here in Tennessee Amtgard, it's a tradition that you do not actually get to pick your own name. If you name yourself, then you'll be renamed.
Well, it used to be anyway.
So the short version of how I got my name is the other person who was running the other park that I told you about, the one that got me into the game, was named Wolf. And he and I had a little bit of a falling out ideologically. And so they named me Flo, which is Wolf backwards. And that later evolved. We had another player out at our park named Hobo, and we came up with variations on his name, and he ended up being Hobojan Thunderhammer. And as a joke, I became Flobojan Thunderhammer. So that is where that came from. That wasn't my first name in the game, though.
Right, which is the question that was asked. Is that
I was about to hit you for dodging
I know,
that.
and I headed it off because I knew that you were going to ask for the original one. So when I first joined the game, me and 5 of my friends decided to name ourselves after archangels. And we came out with white garb and wings and the whole deal. So I was Gabriel, and I wore costume wings. I had like the full, I don't even know if you call it a toga or what it was. It had a huge red cross on it, but the top of the cross wasn't there. It ended at the top of the shirt, and I painted my face red up to the top. So that was the top branch of the cross. And we ran around as it was the Holy Disciples or something was our fighting company name.
I did that for Cabbage and Teflon. That was for you guys.
Yeah. He was never going to tell us, so I appreciate it.
I got it. So, all right, Teflon, how did the persona name come to be?
Okay, there it is.
So I was in Neverwinter. I don't remember what year, probably 2007 or so,
Yeah.
probably 6, 7, something like that. And I had never gotten a name that I cared about or could get stuck or something like that. And one of the Bobs, and I think it was Bellcat, thinking back on it, right, was fighting with me. He's like, "Oh, you're pretty good. What's your name?" And I was like, "It's Jeff." And he's like, "That's your persona name?" I'm like, "No, I don't have anyone because nothing is stuck." And then he goes like, "Yeah, kind of like Teflon." And Goldwyn is actually like 8 people down, hears it and goes, "Well, there's his new name," because that's the tradition we've got.
I love it. That's great. Oh, that's so good. I mean, it's better than being Velcro, I guess. And
Right, yeah.
Cabbage, could you give us insight to your persona?
So my name is actually a pretty deep Austin Powers
I
cut.
forgot about it. Yeah.
Yeah. So again, we never got to pick our names. I came out and I think I wanted to call myself, oh God, it might have been my World of Warcraft character name. So like Nibbles or something. I did stupid shit. But I came out one day and I didn't have my own gear. And I kept going because Sir Gillen, just Gillen at the time, was like, "Yeah, you can use whatever sticks in the big army bag." And I was like, "Cool." And I think I grabbed one of his good sticks and he's like, "Get your grubby little cabbage hands off my stick." And so I was like, "What the fuck?" And they're like, "Oh, you're cabbage hands now." I'm like, "Okay, that's fine." And I went with that for about a year before I finally realized, because I was like rewatching Austin Powers with my dad. And there's the bit in the movie where he goes, "Only 2 things frighten me. And one of them's nuclear war." And they're like, "What's the other one?" "Carnies. They have tiny hands that smell of cabbage." So my entire name is based off of a one-off joke from an Austin Powers film.
And we wouldn't have it any other way at this point.
Yeah, right.
I can't change it now. It's too long.
Right? Okay, so Teflon, if you could start the next question, what achievement or award would you say you're most proud of receiving?
Man, I guess it would be my Paragon Druid because for I don't know, I've never really liked monster classes like ever, right? So I would always play pretty much Druid from V6 on and use it in different spell lists to portray a monster. And so for the longest time, everyone was like, "Oh, Jeff's playing a cool orc, it's a monster," and blah blah blah. But really, what I had done is just crafted Druid spell list after Druid spell list to form like a shaman like aspect from it, and playing the orc as a druid. And it wasn't until Wallbaron mentioned to the Circle of Paragons, like, "Guys, you realize he's just playing druid, right? Like, he's not doing anything special." And then after all that, they were like, "Oh, what is his list? What is he doing?" And then they were looking at him like, "Oh, okay. He is just playing druid." So eventually got it because of that, through basically role play of not being a druid in a way.
Everything starts with Druid and works its way down.
Absolutely.
Not true. Not true.
Sir Flo, it's not your turn. Can we let Cabbage go?
I'm gonna roast you when you're back on our show.
I'm here for it. So, Cabbage, what would you say is your award or achievement you're most proud of receiving?
God, I was hoping Teflon would buy me more time. So there's one award that I have that really stands out to me, and it's my third warrior. Not because I did anything super cool to get it. In fact, I may have done the opposite. I don't know. But it was back when we were a principality, and it was Prince B. That's how long ago this was for the people in this room. He's not played for a while. But I was streaking in a tournament, and my stick either broke. I think my stick broke, or I think my shoe broke, something like that. And my equipment broke, and I ended up not being able to finish the fight. And it was one of those things where I was like one away from getting my streak, and just didn't end up getting it. And I ended up going back through the line after getting my gear sorted out and almost streaking again.
Oh, your mic cut out.
Yeah. I noticed that. Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Yep,
we got
absolutely.
you.
Okay, cool. So I went back through the line and almost streaked again. And then again, a similar thing happened. And this time I think it was my sword that broke, and I was just devastated. I was fucking, I'm done. I walked away. And Prince B got me to get back into the fight. He was like, "Hey man, don't give up. Here, take my stick, get back in there." And finally I ended up getting two. So just one of those player, for me, it was like I wanted to quit multiple times, and somebody actually physically came up to me and was like, "Hey, man, you're gonna get this. Like, here's my stuff. I'm here to help you. Like, let's go." And so for me, that's one of those, like, my third warrior, even though it's not my highest, still means quite a bit to me.
That's great. Sir Flo, what award or achievement would you say is the one that you're most proud of receiving?
So, my knighthood, of course, is something that I'm very, very proud of. It's something that I worked really hard for, but that's not the one that I'm going to toss out there. I'm actually going to set aside the knighthood for this question and go with more standardized awards, because I think that might be a better answer to this question. I'm actually going to go with, I don't think that this award is even given out in most kingdoms anymore, but getting some of my higher Joviuses.
Okay.
We made a big deal back in the day in our young principality at the time about Joviuses, and they weren't given out lightly, and they were given out to people that showed honor and chivalry on the battlefield, and being recognized in that way in front of court by all of your peers really had a big impact on my young Amtgard life. So I'm gonna go with that. And if kingdoms aren't giving those out anymore, think about it. I know it's not a ladder award anymore, guys, but it can mean a lot.
Dragonspine does.
Yeah.
Good.
And way to go and take all of the jokes I'm trying to make and turn it into an actual serious conversation. That's not fair. All right. So let's see. Cabbage, you got the last start on the. Oh no, Teflon got to start the last question. So Cabbage, you get to start this one. What's your favorite battle game?
Okay. I'm not going to say ditch. That's mean. I'm going to say, and I get shit for it, but jugging. It's just jugging. It's the best battle game. It feels so much like a real sport, and it's just so good. Everything about jugging I love. From like every time I've gotten hurt to like every time I've gotten my ass kicked 5-0, every time jugging 100%.
Okay, Sir Flo.
Capture the flag, easy. We have flags at our park that were maybe 5 feet and they were capped at both. They basically had a pommel at both ends with pipe insulation on there, so you could block pretty readily. You weren't allowed to strike with it, of course, and it had the big streaming flag behind it. And the rule was when you were carrying it, you always had to be, Hacksaw Jim Duggan style, running across with the flag waving behind you. Yeah, that's right. And those were probably some of my favorite times in Amtgard, was just picking 2 random. Oh, the other thing was we got to pick your bases, but the other side got to see where your base was. So every single game, you had a kind of a different line to get to the other person's base. So
Sweet. You gotta appreciate that. Teflon.
Pretty much any game that has an objective. If there's an objective, I'm down. Like, I love battle games, and it doesn't matter what kind it is, as long as it's.
Oh, well, now the mic's gone.
I think he turned
Sir-
Yeah, I think we're trying to figure out, we got a loose cable somewhere.
somewhere, yeah.
Okay.
Here, hold on.
You can't just yank somebody's cable like that.
No, I'm good. Okay, anything with an objective, because like I just love battle games, and it doesn't matter if the objective is mostly balanced. I'm good. The more balanced, the better, though.
Teflon, you're like my kindred spirit on the other side of the country.
I know, right?
We'll just be best friends now.
I'm good with that.
Okay. All right. So, Sir Flo, you can start the last bare necessity question. Your favorite class, which can you give us a real class and not say barbarian, please? And then also, what's your favorite weapon loadout? I'm sorry.
So first, we're going to go with the only real class, which is barbarian.
Oh.
All classes in Amtgard are barbarian.
How is Bard barbarian?
It's a singing barbarian.
That is a musical barbarian.
I
Assassin
don't
is
know
a sneaky barbarian. Paladin is a light barbarian. Anti-paladin is a dark barbarian. So it's easily the best class because it is easily all classes in the game.
We just had this discussion though.
We did, and I'm glad that you were able to finally admit that you were wrong. And then for weapon combination, I enjoy Florentine.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't from from of a barbarian, though Florentine is probably a more traditional barbarian thing. It was because I was the worst boardman at our park. I mean, it was bad, and so I decided to pick up a combo that nobody was using, and then learn to beat them with that. So
Yeah, it is fair. It is fair for you to say barbarian as long as you don't say sword and board barbarian, because if there's anything worse than a barbarian, it's sword and board. I'm
So
glad
that's
we got
something
that
we can agree on. That's something we
Yay!
can agree on.
Yay! I'll drink to that. All right. Teflon, favorite class and favorite loadout.
So class is definitely druid. But if you're talking loadout for the class in general, probably just a dagger. Like I really like doing that, and I don't know why people will leave me alone when I have a dagger and only a dagger, but they do, and it just drives me nuts. In some
You hurt
ways.
your friends, Jeff.
Maybe. I did play a lot of quick for jugging, like a lot. But in like general, it's not my best combination, but my favorite way to play is honestly down spear and short sword. It's probably my favorite, like absolute go-to, even though I break them all the damn time, so I never have it.
That's fair. Cabbage.
All right. Favorite class, Bard. Favorite loadout for that class, just like 30 shoves.
Yes.
Favorite loadout in general when I'm fighting, I like a good short sword. Like single sword is my favorite. Sword and board would be next.
Cool. That's interesting. The three of you having three completely different styles that you would prefer. That can't argue with that. That would be the bare necessities, though. Again, sorry, Sin. Now we have to we have to deal with the three questions that have been asked every week of Kingdom of Kodiak by the viewers themselves. And we're going to start with Kron's question. Sir Glenolf was promised a toaster and a soda maker. What do you guys think about that?
I've actually met Glenelf, but it's been some time ago. I would have to say that the soda maker is, quite frankly, inappropriate. And I'm somewhat offended that someone would even bring it up in the same sentence as the toaster.
Mm-hmm.
I think that we have moved past that as a society,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm disappointed that things like this are still happening.
Wow, Sir Flo, this is where you're going to put your box down and step on top of it. Okay, yeah, soda makers. Apparently, KOK is not on the same page as the WAK podcast when it comes.
Oh no, we're split because I'm definitely on Team Soda Maker because Glenelf has made the trip up to Knoxville a few times and provided us with soda bread, and it's fantastic because grape soda bread was really good, by the way.
That's for the toaster.
No. We eat bread with butter and that's it.
Okay.
No
After
toast.
warning it.
Nope, not with a toaster.
I need to stop and just get something right real quick. I thought soda bread was just like bread leavened with only baking soda. Am I wrong?
I mean, it probably can be, but he totally made.
Okay, because you said grape soda bread, and now I don't know.
We made it with grape soda, and it's friggin' delicious, man.
Yeah.
I'm now torn on the soda maker.
He has somewhere, and every time I think about it, I'm like, where the hell did I get that recipe? He put the recipe up somewhere, and I don't know where it's at, but I need a link again. I think I've asked him about 3 different times now.
Toaster's fine, soda maker, I'm torn.
Sir Glenolf, if you're listening, there's a request for your soda bread again. If you're not listening, someone go find him. Why isn't he listening? All right. Stillhat would like to know, what are your thoughts on bears? Cabbage?
Well, so we are a belt line of bears. That kind of bear or bear?
Like raw bear or...
Black bears I'm cool with. Brown bears are terrifying. Polar bears are awesome on TV.
Okay. I mean, it's not the right answer, but it's an answer nonetheless. Sir Flo, go ahead.
So we're here in Knoxville, Tennessee at the foothills of the Smoky Mountains.
Mm-hmm.
We have a lot of people here that watch or read things about how to deal with bears and how to deal with grizzly bears. So they will play dead, and the black bears will just eat you if you play dead. They're scavengers. So just on the grounds that you may get eaten by some of the black bears around here, I'm going to say yes to black bears, because I probably want those people to get eaten. Grizzlies, just all around great. I mean, when people think of bears, they think of grizzly and polar bears. You gotta love because I don't think they're white, right? Like they're not
Their
really.
skin's not white, I think, right?
Yeah, but it's like the way that their fur does it makes them look white or
We don't know
something.
shit about bears.
I really don't. So I'm gonna go with yes to all bears, but especially the ones that are eating people.
Okay. Fantastic.
So,
Teflon,
go
before
ahead.
you go,
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
getting a lot of shout out from Morgan, who heraldry is a polar bear. And this is the first time in KOK history that Morgan has been #1 bear. So very happy right now. Teflon, you may go.
All right, so like I really like the hybrid growler. Those are the coolest bear, I think, to me.
That's not a
And-
real thing.
No, it is. It's a grizzly polar bear hybrid. Yeah.
It's like when
uh,
people make zonkies.
It also happened to be my favorite mech in War Machine for Kador. So there may or may not have a lot about it that way. But Kodiaks are starting to grow on me a little bit. I kind of like the way this is going on. So definitely a favorite bear is Growler and a growing Kodiak, I think.
Yeah. See the right answer. There we go. Fantastic. So Teflon, since you said the right answer, you could start this one.
All right.
As a caveat question to that, who is your favorite bear?
My favorite bear. Well, I think I'm gonna have to just go with Smokey the bear, just given our general area.
Yeah.
He's pretty cool.
Cabbage, go ahead.
Oh no. I was gonna say Smokey the Bear. He stole mine.
Oh man. 3 for 3, Sir Flo?
No. I Smokey's great.
Which Care Bear is it?
Now, first, I'm offended that you would think it was Care Bears. Second, it's Care Bears. And I'm gonna go with Tenderheart.
Because it would be grumpy if I had to choose Care Bear.
Yeah, gonna go with Tenderheart.
Which isn't really a bear.
Yes, they are the Care Bears.
Yeah.
It is definitely a bear.
Yeah, the bearing of caring.
Yeah,
But that's
right.
but Tenderheart's a lion.
Tenderheart's a lion, is he?
I think so.
I thought
I
that
don't
he was the
remember, though.
lead bear. Is he not the one with the little?
Oh,
Is that not the one with the little? Okay,
am
hold
I
on.
wrong? Am I wrong?
I don't know. I'm gonna.
Oh, man.
If only we had some kind of database that contained all of the knowledge of the world
Connected
in it.
by tubes and wires and.
Right, but this would be the first time on KOK that I was wrong.
Well, we can just breeze right through and not worry about it. And then
absolutely. Well,
You are
next question.
wrong, sir.
Yeah, the Care Bears wiki does say he is a bear.
There was a lion, I think, but I don't remember when. Maybe
Okay.
it's in a
I'm
limited-
learning-
Proudheart was the lion.
Ah.
First time I've ever even.
Oh, that's terrifying. So the picture
That
that
is
I pulled up for this, I don't know if this is going to come up here.
No, it's not. This is video poison.
Oh, yeah.
Almost, not quite.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is just terrible. Yeah, no, definitely. Apparently, $11 for a Tenderheart.
Okay. All right. Okay. So, Carrot Bears. I
It's
was
the second time you were wrong. You mentioned barbarians.
wrong. Oh well. I mean, that's debatable, and
That's
it is
just
my,
wrong for you, Flo. It's fine.
It is my show, so. So, 2 more questions about bears. We'll get to the last question. We'll actually get to the interview at some point. First off, Teflon, tell me, is Stillhead the best bear? And then also, can you explain if bears are on the moon?
I don't know who Stillhead is or the name you gave. I couldn't quite catch it.
Stillhead.
But Smokey is definitely, I think, the best bear, followed by maybe a Kodiak. And then bears being on the moon. I'm gonna go with I bet they are on the moon, man. Maybe in not in quite the same furry 4-legged format, but I feel like there's gonna be a bear on the moon.
Yeah, that's probably the right answer. Cabbage.
So I also don't know who Stillhead is.
Okay.
I got to go with Smokey also. But I have to disagree with Jeff. We don't have the technology to know if there's bears on the moon. We've never been there. So there's no way. There's no way for us to know. And until we get there, hopefully in the 2030s at some point, maybe we'll know. But until then, I couldn't say one way or the other.
Wow. I mean, that's going to lead into a question later on, but I'll remember.
Listen, the Germans have been there. We have moon bases.
Oh, the documentary Iron Sky.
Iron Skies.
Yeah.
Yeah, that.
So three here. I also don't know who you mentioned, but I can confirm that bears are definitely on the moon, and because Baloo has been there in one of the old Tailspin episodes.
Oh, I forgot. Yeah, he totally did go to the moon, didn't he?
So, I mean, the Tailspin documentary very clearly laid out that they had gone.
That's fair. Just Distillhead is currently my regent and is likely to be the next monarch of Dragonspine. So,
Nice.
and she also submits most of these questions along with Morgan. So she gets a weekly shout out. Thank you, Stillhead. All right. Big question here. Stillhead would like to know, what are your thoughts on Dragonspine's mobile pool and or jacuzzi?
All for it, 100%. I love the idea.
Yeah,
When
especially
can I get in?
especially if it's in the back of a pickup truck.
Yeah, I was
We're
going to
good,
say
'cause we could totally do that. And if you need help with that, ask any Tennessean. We'll be perfectly able to tell you how to do it right.
specifically fitting it into the back of a pickup truck. We're real good at that here. And then going through a Taco Bell drive-through.
Don't directly put the heater inside the truck. That is a mistake that novices make.
Yeah.
Yep.
I didn't even think about going for Taco Bell once the pool was made.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
See, this
No,
is why you got to get the Tennesseans involved for this kind of thing.
Yeah. I think we're on the same wave. We've got a whole Dom here, and Dom is like crafter of all things. So I think we can get some of the Tennessee feel of it. But I mean, okay, so you're all for it. I'm hearing a lot of positives here. But how does Dragonspine get this pool approved? Sir Flo?
Well, I think the first thing that you really need to consider when trying to get a mobile hot tub approved is that you're just going to have to steal money to make this happen, because the kingdom will rightfully never approve it there. Crime, I think is my first answer there to get it approved.
All right.
Oh, I like corruption. Just
Corruption.
become part of the monarchy or head of the BOD or whatever, and just rubber stamp.
See, yeah, we could have gone with start stacking the board of directors and things like that. I don't quite know how your
That's the long term goal.
Yeah, but you want this hot tub tomorrow, so I'm giving you the easy way.
You gotta have time to build it, so you take the time to build it and rubber stamp it at the same time.
No, my pickup truck company built it. I'm just putting the water in there.
I mean, yeah.
Cabbager, you on board with this? Is it crime and corruption that gets this done?
Well, so it doesn't have to be crime and corruption, and I'll tell you why. The Winter's Edge Kapora actually has a segment where the monarch can spend up to 5% of the coffers in any given month for the purpose of growing the kingdom. And I think I could easily make the argument that having a mobile hot tub to bring to events is growing the kingdom. It's going to make people show up. So I don't even think you have to do anything underhanded. You just do what you're allowed to do.
Yeah, it's 5% though. I get 10% here. I mean, humble brag, but
well, it's a good starting point at the very least. My prime minister might be texting me now, telling me to shut the hell up.
Right?
Are we going to go with like a kiddie pool for 5%? I don't even know if we can afford that.
Okay. It's
I don't know. Our coffers are doing pretty good.
Yeah, like it would be about, and I can do it monthly, right?
Yeah, that's
if I had done this at the start of my reign, because I've had a two reigns. I mean, that's 12 months of me being able to just make this thing happen.
Yeah, it's too bad that you just found out about it.
Right? I just had the idea. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man, stick around, kid. I'll teach you all the bad stuff. For Teflon, Six Promethea reached out and put the recipe for that bread in the chat.
Yes.
Oh, that's awesome.
All right. Let's actually get started with some questions here, folks. So I usually break down the questions into a couple of categories. The first set of the questions is going to talk about your podcast. So Deverick would like to know, what inspired you to start WAK? And let's just freeform this. Whoever wants to answer.
Sure. So Cabbage and I had the idea to do a podcast, I don't know, maybe a year and a half or so ago. We're just both
perfectionists.
Yeah, I was going to say that we started chasing butterflies for a while after that, and then tripped and remembered we wanted to do a podcast again. I'm actually going to give a shout out here to Subway if he's listening for saying you guys really need to get off your butt and get this taken care of. With the pandemic going on, this is a good time to start reaching out to people. So we did. It was really, we have a very young kingdom. We were a principality for a very long time. We've only been a kingdom for about 3 years now. And we've had a population flip as kingdoms go through, where we've had a lot of younger people cycle in, and some of our older members have cycled out, at least temporarily. And we wanted a way to be able to introduce all of them to the greater Amtgard world. And it turns out that through the three of us, we have connections with most other kingdoms, and started reaching out to people that we knew and hitting them up to come on. So that was really where it started, was a desire just to be able to introduce our kingdom to the rest of Amtgard, and then maybe even introduce the rest of Amtgard to our kingdom.
Yeah. So side note, Winter's Edge also, at least in recent years, in the last like 5 or 6 years, has been a little more isolationist. So there's been like kind of the contingent that would go to clan or something like that to try and push for for our kingdom. But overall, we don't travel as a kingdom very much anymore. So there has been a lot less exposure to general Amtgard. So this is kind of trying to help that as well.
Shout out to Pumpkin Jack, who makes the trip.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's my homie. And also Rada, who's in the Order of the Ash. But this isn't about me. This is about you.
You're better at that than we are.
Okay, so Stillhead would like to know about the artwork that's being done for your podcast. You guys go on YouTube, you get to see the cool faces of everyone. You're gonna see my face eventually.
It might be up right now.
It might be up right now.
Yep, Vidalia actually just now messaged me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so the artwork is done by my fiance, Barony Vidalia. She's from Radiant Valley Park here in Winter's Edge.
Cool.
She does a great job.
She absolutely does. She had been trying to do them on like some like off-brand Wacom tablet or something like that, and I ended up getting an iPad. And I was like, let's try out the pencil. And within like 5 seconds, I have no artistic talent when it comes to drawing. I can't write anymore. But I was like, let's get the pencil and see if it works for you, see if that's any better. And within like 2 minutes, she had mine and Flo's drawn up just like that. And I was like, holy shit, that was amazing. She's like, yeah, it's got layers and it's got this thing, and I can do this, and I can isolate layers and do it. And I'm like, I have no idea what that means. Please keep the iPad.
I do have to admit to showing off the picture that she drew of me to a couple of friends last night and being like, look how adorable I am. This is the most adorable I will ever be, because I got big blue eyes in it, my hair. Oh, it's so good.
I love my stupid face. It's so good.
Yeah, it's become a tradition, and anyone who comes on the podcast gets one. And I think she's also taking commissions, but I don't want to throw her under the bus directly.
Throw her under the bus.
I think she's taking commissions. I don't know that 100%, but I think
she has confirmed that today that she is taking commissions.
Hey, there you go.
Yeah. So please find that as well. That awesome. Do that thing. Stillhead would also like to know how you pick the people that come on your podcast. And Teflon, I'm going to let you answer this one.
We go through Flo's phone and we find big names that are in there, because there's a bunch of them, and we make Flo talk to them on the phone again. And sometimes they say yes, and sometimes they say no. I don't know if we've gotten actually a no yet.
No, but that's what I was going to say. Is we used to kind of like beg and plead and be like, "Oh God, please come on our podcast," and no one's ever said no. Right. So yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah, I traveled around quite a bit. My fighting company used to hit up every event that we could in any part of the United States. I've visited all 48 of the continental states, running around doing crazy Amtgard things, and I've made quite a few friends along the way. Some of them I got their number just because we needed to know what hotel we were staying at or something, and now I'm calling them up 12 to 18 years later. Hey, this is Flo, and most of them haven't hung up. And we tell them about the show and then have them come on.
Yeah, also, people will recommend people to us.
They do. Yeah.
Oh God, I'm blanking name.
You were actually recommended by
Randall, I think.
Yeah.
Randall. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, Randall gave us a few recommendations. Randall also recommended us to do Six Promethea.
Yeah, that's
one of my favorite episodes.
We keep getting told that Sir Randall is just kind of, he's got a list of people. He's like, you should talk to this person.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how I end up on this list. I'm the new guy. I don't have a white belt. Whatever. But sure, yeah, okay. Lots of fun.
Belt doesn't change anything about who you are, man.
Yeah.
Oh man, I wish you would say that louder and to more people,
Yeah, right.
because that would change a lot of the philosophy about what's going on with belt. But we'll get to belts in a minute.
Oh wow.
Sorry.
The Triad is the fighting company, correct?
Yeah, I'm in the Triads. Yeah.
Yes, Sir Anatol's episode. I was listening. All right. All right. A couple of questions here about the three of you. And all I want you to do is point to the correct answer. Who is the best fighter? Teflon, I don't even see a hand.
Yeah, sorry. I just
there we go.
realized. Yeah.
Okay. Who has the best aim? This could be archery as well, or spell balls. Who has the best hair?
I can't. You're just disqualified.
I know.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with.
And lastly, who has the smoothest voice?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with me.
Yeah. I was gonna wait and see if there was an argument there. I'd be like, oh, okay, hold on. Outside observer. There's a correct answer here, folks.
Yeah.
All right. So we talked a little bit about the podcast, not too much. I want people to go watch that instead of trying to take our interpretation here. Let's talk about Amcard as a whole and get some good answers. Raise your hand if you have a heraldry.
I do now.
Yeah, I know. That's recent-ish.
You have one as well.
It's not done.
He has one as well.
All right. So,
I haven't seen it.
Well, Cabbage, I'll let you go last then when I ask. Please describe what your heraldry looks like. Sir Flo, can you start that with us?
I can. So my heraldry, I was contacted by our monarch at the time and told that I was going to get knighted, and I was just so excited. I really can't put into words how special of a moment that was. And then I started having people contact me and say things like, "What's your heraldry?" I didn't have one. Almost a year after I got knighted, I was talking to these two chuckleheads and sent a message over voice to text in Discord, because what we do for our belt line is you take the hammer, but you can be anything. I am Thunderhammer. He is Frosthammer. Cabbage is Tidehammer. And I said, I want to get some heraldry made for the Thunderhammer line specifically. And it put a lightning bolt and a household carpentry hammer with a big claw on the end. And I thought to myself, I could actually make some heraldry out of that. So my heraldry now is a shield with the lightning bolt and hammer crossed on it, because I wanted something that could actually be used as old school heraldry. Mm-hmm. And the hammer itself is exactly like the one that you can't really see in the picture behind you here, but it's a Viking warhammer is what it is.
Awesome. Teflon?
So Lucas kind of made mine, I think. I had actually kind of commissioned a video to do it. That was, I think, when she was just learning digital art. And so it's got mountains in the background, of a blue hammer in the foreground, and it's laid out on the kind of classic shield shape. And then there's 3 snowflakes on the top. But Lucas originally made it, and then I don't remember exactly what happened, but like it went away from the screen or something screwed up, and he kind of tells it better. So what happened, Lucas?
Okay, so your piece had originally been drawn by hand. Fidelia hadn't yet been doing digital art.
Right.
I I do use Photoshop as part of my work. Usually, like making vector graphics and stuff like that. So I kind of know how to do that if I have something to work from. So that's what I took yours and was trying to do a whole bunch of new stuff in Photoshop that I'd never done before. Because I was like, I'm really going to knock this out of the park. And so I'm getting it. I'm on a roll. I've had a few hiccups. I've been working at it for about 3 hours. If that tells you how good I am at Photoshop. And I don't know what I did. I hit some keyboard combo. It is 4 a.m. and I just pushed something and everything disappeared. And I went from like, all right, I do this, I click this, I'm going to move this here. I'm going to kill our cats. I don't know why that's the first place that I went. I just was I had like a rage snap and it was very calm. I was just like, I'm going to kill our cats. And Vidalia's in the room watching this happen. And she's like, you what? And I was like, nothing, I'm fine. I have to find where it went.
Okay. So, Cabbage, I hope that was enough time for you to be able to get your heraldry. Go ahead.
Was I supposed to buy me time?
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah, that's exactly what just happened.
Yeah.
So as I understand it, I did a very rough sketch of kind of what I thought my heraldry would be. And essentially a tide hammer is just a big anchor. If anyone's ever played Dota, there's a character called Tide Hunter, who's probably my favorite in the whole game. And he has that same, it's a big hammer that he swings around. It's just an anchor. So boat anchor on shield. I assume there's going to be waves. Beyond that, I don't know what it actually looks like.
I think it is the Japanese wave. Last time I saw like
The Great Wave off of Kanagawa.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think so.
Okay. Well,
cool. I like that.
since you all have your own heraldry, the question of me designing one for you doesn't need to be put into place. I have a reputation of designing heraldries for people that aren't me, and I have to wait until other people inspire mine. But I have one now, so we're good to go.
Excellent.
Still would like to know, and this is the night question. We're getting to the night questions. Don't worry, there's a whole food category later too. How long in the game minimum until you are considering someone for knighthood? Let's talk to a knight first.
Sure. I don't know how popular this opinion is. I know that it's somewhat divided in our kingdom, but I don't have a minimum time in the game. Or maybe a better way to say that is, I feel like sometimes when we're discussing knighthood, there is also this discussion of you're too young in the game to have it or something like that. I think that in most situations, you end up being at least 2 years or more into the game before you have accumulated enough awards to do that.
Mhm.
But I've never approached it in any of the terms that I have served as a minimum time served or anything like that. I grew up in an era of AmpGuard where it was, if you've put in the work and you've gotten your box stops, then congratulations. So long as you check all of the other boxes, then welcome to the peerage.
Okay.
Um,
Now, as for your beltlings, do your opinions differ from your knights, or are we just going to say samesies?
Samesies. I mean, if you're good, you're good. Not that long ago, it was theoretically possible for somebody to wander onto a field, sign a waiver, and then go straight into a tournament and get their warlord and weapon master like pretty quick. I mean, it never happened, but theoretically it could have.
Sure.
And I mean, would we tell that person no? I wouldn't.
Teflon?
Mostly samesies, like kind of to expound on flow. The average AmpGuard lifetime, like for the average number of them, right, is something like 3 years.
Yeah.
So like, it's definitely something I feel should have some sort of standard to it for sure. However, I think sometimes we look at it too highly in a way, and we end up giving people far too late. We see a lot of burnout in knighthood and things like that. So I kind of am of the opinion that we need to be looking at it sooner rather than later, I guess.
Okay. So open-minded
Yeah,
about. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Sir Flo.
I was going to say that I think part of the problem that we run into is that people look at knighthood as you've finally beaten the final boss in the game. And I know that I certainly looked at it that way before I got my belt.
Mhm.
And this is one of those things that I think you can't tell someone. They almost have to experience it in order for it to really sink in. But it's not. you're the exact same person you were the day before. And knighthood, I feel like, should be a recognition from your peers and from your kingdom that you've reached a level. It's in no way saying that you've beaten the game. I think that your journey really begins when you get your belt, and from there, it's certainly different because you're no longer in the hunt. You're working more as a mentor and a teacher, which you could do before, but now people will be coming to you as that mentor and teacher, right? I mean, I think that for me is a much better headspace to be in when we're talking about what a belt should be, and it's also why I don't apply any kind of strict timeline to it.
Yeah, because like from a martial arts perspective, one of the sayings is like a black belt is just a white belt who never gave up, and that's kind of how I feel like about it too.
Yeah.
No, that's great. Cabbage, anything else? Sir Philo wants you to have more.
I know. I mean, he said
Doesn't.
he's oh God, okay, yes, sir. Oh God, no. He said a journey begins when you get your belt, and I would just add on to that, say, it ends when you join the SCA.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
100%.
Okay,
Yep.
all right.
Yeah.
Okay, there's an agreement here. All right, fantastic. All right, so I don't know if you guys have to deal with the paladin anti-paladin discussion, but still has a spin on it. Grey Knights. Should Amtgard have them, or should they stay in space?
Okay, so I appreciate the 40K reference.
Well,
I guess I need to know what a Grey Knight is. If it is a 40K style Grey Knight, I'm all for that being an Amtgard. That sounds awesome. I want to play it right now. But if it's just some mishmash of paladin and anti-paladin, fine. You guys can have it. I don't. I'm gonna keep playing Bard.
Yeah, I don't know what the Grey Knight is in reference to it, but like I'm all for open classes. I do not think they should be behind a barrier. Almost every new player comes in, flips the book open, looks at these classes, go, "Oh, cool, paladin," and then you have to have this stupid conversation of like, "Well, you're not good enough in the game yet. Sorry, kid."
Yeah, if the question was about opening paladin, anti-paladin to other players, for real, yeah. Like I actually voted on that at Clan. I think that whole vote failed by one vote.
ooh, then hi, I might be the one.
How could you?
Well,
No, I'm just kidding.
How could I? The Knights deserve to have something. Anyways, Sir Flo, do you have an opinion on Grey Knights?
So my vote on Grey Knights, without knowing what they are, is going to be yes. One, because I think it sounds cool, and two, because I think that we have been in this, let's kind of refine what we have with the classes we're already using, but there's a lot of fantasy classes out there that we just don't touch on at all. And if this is going to be the one thing that distinguishes us from other boffers, we should do more of it.
Okay, now I'll define Grey Knight because still has another question. So instead of having paladin, anti-paladin, where we do black and white for it's just you have what colors you want, and you're not. In Dragonspine, we have a tradition where paladins are given kale and salt water when they're knighted, and anti-paladins are given ice cream. And
Do you have any paladins?
Sir Randall's a paladin.
Did he know before? Because that seems like
maybe the tradition was after he chose, because I feel like he would have definitely chosen ice cream.
Like kale's not even a food. It's like the little trimming they put around it's a promissory note of food to come.
Oh,
You put that against a banana split.
The idea that probably an anti-paladin came up with the tradition because it's paladin versus kale, but the idea of the Grey Jedi is that they're not Grey Jedi. Well, I just did it. They're not on either side of the Force. They're down the middle. Does there have to be a class? Probably not. Do the classes have to be opened up? I mean, Six Prometheus telling me in the chat that they absolutely need to. So
she's right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
So I'm going to interrupt you. Before Clan, because I knew that was coming up, I actually gathered our circle of knights here in Winter's Edge and posed the question to them, like, hey, do you guys want to keep this? Because I was like, I kind of had the same. I was like, the knights deserve their thing, and I got as many of the knights as I could together and in a voice call and said, what do you think? And universally, the answer was, yeah, I don't care. I just play assassin. So I was like, because I was ready to go to the mat at Clan. I was like, well, I'm going to vote no on this. This is dumb. And then all of our knights were like, I don't care. Give it to people.
Yeah,
So-
I still went to the mat. I'm sorry.
I,
Stefan, go
I
ahead.
no, you're good. I actually agree that the knight should get something, right? But just make it a look the part like bonus, and then being able to apply to all of the classes. Maybe it's like if you're an anti-paladin, then maybe you have a terror once per game or whatever. You know, no matter what class you play. And then for paladin, maybe it's a resurrect or whatever. We can figure that out at some point. But I think that's the way to go about it.
Yeah, so I've put this out there, and I've said this on I don't know, this might be the 5th or 6th KOK in a row. Open the 2 classes up if you want, but then every class should have a prestige for white belted players. Paragon should also have something, so that they can have special little things. Every class is available. All 6 level stuff's available. A minor little benefit for those 2 other standards, and you have my vote of yes. But taking everything away and then just telling the people that have worked to get these white belts, hey, you need all the responsibility and get none of the award or reward. Boo.
They get big axe.
Maybe.
They get big scroll. They get big shirt. They get big belt. They
No,
get
I don't have the belt here.
they get big spur. They get stuff.
Okay. Yeah. For the one-time offer of those things, they have to
You get
A life-
bird shirt.
a lifetime of servitude for
Bird
one
shirt.
day's worth of stuff. Okay. All of that coming together still has posed the most dangerous of questions.
Okay.
Should Kodiak be allowed to be a gray knight if he's knighted?
100%. Yes.
I mean, so is it because you feel like I do that force lightning someone is not inherently an evil act, especially if that person sort of deserved it?
I would suggest that it's because someone was silly enough to put a white belt on me, but
You're going to force lightning the person that puts the belt on you?
Ooh, good
That's
call. I like
dark.
that. So I would go no, because it's anti-paladin, and I like that. I'm with you there.
No, I think she's just trying to speak into existence, which has become one of my favorite phrases. The idea that knighthood is something that's on my plate. So, but yeah, I don't mind force lightning. I think we're all the heroes of our own story, and that means we're inherently good at some level. Because we wouldn't. Only crazy people think that they're inherently evil. That's
Sure.
so,
Sure. So I'm going to say yes to your story then, because you wanted to force lightning people.
Yeah. Is that are we getting samesies out of this or?
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
so.
unanimous
Yeah.
consent here. Yeah.
All right. Okay. So talking a little bit more on that process, how big does an art project have to be considered a master project? And this would be in the Serpents range. Let's give this to Cabbage. You made a face. Go ahead.
Fuck.
I
just
get it.
Ah, damn it. Okay. So I feel like I'm going to have kind of a controversial opinion, but I don't think, again, this is kind of like time and game. I don't think there's a size requirement necessarily. You know, it's, you can make something small that is still incredibly good. You know, we have artisans who do chainmail. We have people who make miniatures, tiny sculptures, stuff like that. And, you know, if there was a size, now, if we say like I even disagree that there should be a size in terms of like time or scope or scale, just because the thing you make might be really needed. And if that only took you a day, great, we needed it. You know, so I don't think there should be a limitation on it. That's too hard to have up front.
Okay.
So I'm going to kind of echo that to some degree. And I'm also more of a proponent of a singular piece doesn't have to be the thing that gets it. If you are contributing quantity, as long as it's like a S rank is what you're looking for, like for the masterpiece, right? If they're putting out quality A's or A pluses over and over again, that's perfectly fine by me. Like that's adding more to the game in many ways than the singular S ranked item, right? Because you're clothing or doing whatever more people, and for me, that's just the same to me.
Okay.
Yeah. What was it, like Napoleon that said quantity has a quality all its own?
I don't know, but that's a pretty cool phrase too. I
mean,
like that a
that's-
lot. Yeah.
I use Joseph Stalin.
I mean, we're gonna just
wow.
skip past who
It's a good
said
quote.
it.
It's a good quote. We're gonna just yep. Sorry.
Sir Flo, are you agreeing with your Beltlings, or do you have a different opinion?
No, I do agree with them. There's to say that you have to put out one singular great piece isn't a great way to look at it, because some people in some crafts don't really lend themselves to that as well as others.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of point to leatherworking as a great example here, because an amazing leatherworking piece, which is rather expensive and time consuming to make, that would net you a 10th or a masterhood in owl, may not be as complex, or it would be more time consuming and work intensive than perhaps someone who chooses to do something like I don't even know, something that would target more towards dragon, not a specific garb or something like that, but something that would target more towards dragon.
Yeah, like painting,
painting or
not
something.
Not to like discredit by any means, right? Because
Yeah.
each craft in and of itself is different, and so
Yeah, but I mean, to the point, I am not a good painter. I likely will never be a good painter. But if I was able to produce something that was of 10th or masterhood level quality, it's going to take me much longer than it would someone like Vidalia, who is an excellent artist.
Who has gotten to 8 dragons in a year and a half in the game.
Yeah, but it doesn't mean that what she produced was any less special or anything, because she has chosen to apply more time and practice into this particular art than I have. So that's the distinction that I make, is we're born with different gifts and talents, and those are applied differently as well. And so you can't narrow it down to just, it needs to be one grand gesture or something like that, because that may not be the way that the person chooses to work.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. I could probably if I tried, but I don't currently right now. All right. Morgan would like to know your favorite event and why. Let's make this a free for all.
Okay, my favorite event, at least when it was still as big as I remember it, was always Great Eastern. I think it's because there's a big nostalgia piece in my brain reserved for it, because it was the first really big event I went to. So I'm going to say Great Eastern. It's a ton of fun.
man, I've been to a lot is the problem, right?
Yeah, right.
And I don't know that I think I'm gonna have to go with the Rackus that we went to for the triads.
The
That
first
one
time
time.
we
Is
went
it
up?
just because of the disc golf?
I was going to, that may have a possibility to play to that. No, so there was just so many random stories that came from it. There was the snowflake story, and
Yeah.
there was the disc golf that was going on. That was awesome. It was really the first time that it wasn't the first time I'd flown, but it was the first time I'd flown with friends or not my family, basically. So, it was like just a really cool trip that I had with kind of like a guy's weekend or whatever, basically. Um, and I don't know. I just look really fondly on that one. It's probably my favorite one.
Favorite event ever? That's a hard question to answer. The number of events that I have been to number in the hundreds at this point, no joke. Let's see. I think that I'm going to have to go with a Great Eastern as well. It was a specific Great Eastern, not just the event in general, but it was because our friends from Florida, who were our parent kingdom at the time, had come down. And it was people in my fighting company, so I got to fight with them. And a contingent of knights had come up to Great Eastern. So Michael, Hammer of God, was there.
Mm-hmm.
Thor was there. Guy was there. Leaf came up with them. And we just got to talk and hang out the whole time. And I had met these people before and hung out at some of their houses, but I hadn't really gotten to know them very well, as odd as that may sound. And this whole event was just us hanging out and drinking and having a good time. So yeah, that one definitely goes in my top three. I'm going to name it number one, because I don't know what the other two are right now.
Okay. Morgan would like to expand on the travel question, but more of, are there any things that you saw in other kingdoms that you really want to bring back to your own? Maybe especially through this pandemic where you're getting to talk to a lot more other kingdoms, or maybe you were at an event that you really liked. Let's start with Cabbage.
So stuff I've seen from other kingdoms that I would like to bring back to my own kingdom. Um, there's so much just from talking to people. We've talked to a lot of folks in Iron Mountains and in Dragonspine. I actually like your sword knight and training thing. We talked about it briefly. I'd like to have something like that here. That sticks out to me. I guess it's a hard one for me to answer because the answer is really big events. Like I would love to have a clan-sized event here in my backyard. I don't know how to make it happen, but I'll do what I can. So it's either the sword knight and training if I have to be specific, or big events if I can.
I'm honored that all of your time in the game and something that I brought up was something that you would want to bring in. Also, take the wrestling part of it too.
Yeah.
So I can't take the wrestling thing. When you mentioned that earlier, my fiance Baronne Vitalia eventually wants to do a wrestling themed reign. She's talked about it for months. So we're both big wrestling fans. So it's gonna happen eventually.
Sweet.
But it'll have to be her idea. I can't say I got it from you.
Okay. All right, that's fair.
Man, so I'm a big like props kind of person and battle game person, right?
Mhm.
And ever since I had heard from Echoist Tie Dye about the Maze stuff that you guys did or do, I've really, really wanted to either go or have an event in the Corn Maze. I think it's one of the coolest things that could happen. You've got night quests that's like a labyrinth and things like this. It could be really, really cool.
Yeah. We had talked about this, not today, but
Right.
previously we've talked about this, and I encourage you guys to find someone who's willing to do that because you'll get the turnout you want. I promise you'll get the turnout you want. But having the 3D
It
structure,
sounds so good. Oh,
so good.
even with just the little walls that I've made, that are like was it 6 foot tall, 8 feet wide roughly.
Yeah.
Just having two of those on the field made the dynamic way better on a local play. So I can't even imagine what it would actually be like on a kingdom level. It's so cool sounding.
Yeah. Sir Flo?
I forgot the question.
It was something about barbarians being the worst class.
Yep.
Definitely wasn't the question.
No, it wasn't. You're right. A positive thing that you've seen from another kingdom that you want to bring into your own.
Oh yes. My memory is failing me here. What kingdom was it that did Noblander?
Was it Tal'Doror or Rising
It
Winds?
was Tal'Doror. It was. I think both of them have, but this is when the event had moved out of Rising Winds. If it had started there, we went to Tal'Doror for a Noblander once, and so they actually, our kingdom doesn't do a lot of courtly things at court, right? We give people awards, we do all of that stuff, but it's not that there's official court proceedings. The monarch doesn't come in with their guard or anything. And so Tal'Doror at this event, the monarch actually came in with their guard marching with them. They called in all of the anyone that had a noble title. They actually introduced. They had a herald introduce it, and then before court started, they had all of the knights of Tal'Doror come up, and they had this was before Game of Thrones had started. The books were around for a decade or more before the show, right? But they actually had a book that if you get knighted in their kingdom, you put your name in the book, and they keep track of all of your deeds in the book. And all of the knights had to come forward before court and swear fealty to the kingdom of Tal'Doror, not to the current monarch. And I thought that it was such a cool thing to do. So if I could do anything, I would bring that back to our kingdom. Something where court's a little bit more of a courtly thing. I think it makes it more fun for everyone. And then specifically, the knights have to come up and swear fealty to the kingdom.
That's awesome. No, I love that entirely. One big push that I was trying to make at the local level, and I was trying to do it at the kingdom level, but COVID was getting backstories from everyone to keep a book of that as well, so that everyone like future could read about Sir Randall's backstory and be like, oh wow, hey, I could be like a distant relative of this situation or whatever. But yeah, I love the idea of like knights signing in and swearing fealty. That's awesome. RP, we need more of that. Um,
Yes.
One of the things that we do, and this isn't about me, but I really like this that we do it. At least I have, is I have a herald. I have someone who announces all of the people coming up for me. And my herald is Sir Francis, and he goes out of his way to get all of the person's titles and all of their any of their prides or whatever long list, scroll out, and will read the entire thing for me before I give them awards. And he opens court and dismisses court and heralds. We need heralds. Um, the last part of the question before we get to the tough stuff, we call it the funny questions. Morgan would like to know a positive thing that your kingdom does that you wish more kingdoms did.
King Cabbage.
It would be me. Honestly, it feels kind of cliche to say, but Southern hospitality is a real thing. If you've ever been to the South, I mean, it is like a lot of your reputation is dependent on how you treat guests and strangers and stuff like that. And I think that applies to Amtgard as a whole. I have never seen a new person show up to a park or to a kingdom event or to anything like that and not get a fantastic welcome. Everybody is super friendly. It's one of those things that I don't want to knock any other kingdoms, but when I've gone to other events and I'm like, hey guys, my name's Cabbage. I'm new here. What do you guys like to do? And they're like, who the fuck are you? Like, go over there. The line starts over there. Get in. We'll do a tournament. Get out of here. And they're not being mean. That's just how they talk to people. Like that's kind of what's expected.
Yeah.
So, if you ever come to an event in Winter's Edge, don't be afraid to walk up and say hi to somebody. Don't be afraid to just put yourself in the circle and start talking. That's one of my favorite parts about Winter's Edge.
Okay.
Samesies.
You can't samesies that.
So I'm going to actually touch on something that we started doing again that we had stopped doing. We started getting older and doing a lot of hoteling.
Old.
Yeah, and doing a whole lot of hoteling and things like that. And one of the things that we have brought back is the night culture, NIGHT in this case, culture where people are camping more. You're having walkabouts where you go and you say hi to all of the different campsites, and you've got 2 or 3 belted lines that have decided to camp together, and they've got a big fire going, and they're cooking dogs, and they've got beer and non-alcoholic stuff that you stop by, you can sit down with them and chat and have something to drink. That had started coming back in a really, really good way before the pandemic hit. And it was coming off of a time where for many, many, many years, a lot of people had gone and gotten hotel rooms. And I'm going to tell you right now, for anybody listening, hoteling is nice, especially as I've gotten older and like comfy beds instead of a hard ground to sleep on. But it is one of the things that the other games have over
Man, you
Amtgard.
miss so much without
Oh,
it.
Midnight Bacon.
Midnight
Damn it,
Bacon
you
with
stole
Duffer.
that was
Sir
going to be
Duffer.
my thing.
You can't
after the
samesies
samesies.
everything I say, Jeff.
No, but
Get your own
God
thing.
Damn it, I was just thinking about it.
You
I
look
was like,
ridiculous right now.
oh, I know.
Sir, one of our knights that came from out west, Sir Duffer, does Midnight Bacon, which it's getting together, and all of the stories that the younger Amtgarders hear us old salts tell all happened after 10 p.m. at an event somewhere.
Largely, yeah.
And you miss that when you go back to the hotel to take a shower and sleep in your nice comfy bed.
Yeah, and you're usually breaking a lot sooner. Like you're like, oh man, I got to drive. So 8:00, I'm out. So
Yep.
Yeah, I do like that. We have had a site that we called the Murder Barn for a little while. And yeah, I know, honestly, like if we could get the kitchen upgraded, it would be fine. But the kitchen drastically needs an upgrade. But I love that site because it kind of forced us to have that nightlife again. and then even kind of the downtime stuff like Cube and things like that. That's really what I want to see more of.
Okay. If you guys make it to a GOTC event, I'm sure I could talk to Deverick and we can introduce you to the circle. I don't know if you'll be ready for the circle. Jinx says establish a gentleman's rule on day 1, so you could come play the circle with us after 10.
I'm down.
All right.
I like the sound.
I'm not going to say I'm down or not down until
and
I
I'm
know
gonna go
exactly
ahead
what
and
the circle is.
scratch what the gentleman's rule is and just jump in. I
It's-
like chaos. So
Spoilers, it's a drinking game.
oh
I'm in. I'm 100%. Have you guys played Stump?
I'm still
No,
not in
we're
until
back
I
on
know the
Stump
rules of the
I will-
drinking game.
I will bring up Stump every time. I'm down for whatever drinking game, but I will make it into Stump at some
He
point.
wants to lose a finger.
Okay. All right. So those are all the serious questions that we had.
Okay.
We're gonna get into the serious questions now, though. So
All right.
I'm gonna offer out the question. Whoever wants to give an answer, if you have a debate to it, please have the debate. If not, we'll move on. If you agree. The first question, Stillhat would like to know: are birds real, or are they just part of the bourgeoisie?
I mean, considering that a bird is a nightly thing to a degree with the phoenix, I'm going to say definitely bourgeoisie.
I have seen a bird on Anatole's shield, and I believe that Anatole is
Ooh,
real.
that is a good bird.
Therefore, birds must also be real.
But they
No.
could be like a unicorn, man.
No.
They're just drawn.
Birds aren't real. It's just the front side of bats.
Man,
Stillhat, front side of bats or birds? That's okay. All right, I'm here for it.
There's no birds. It's just, yeah.
Who is the most underrated Akatsuki member?
Is this a Naruto thing?
Yes, it absolutely is.
Okay, I have seen exactly 7 episodes of Naruto. I'm going to defer to my knight.
the
Nope,
Sand
not it.
Ninja.
Mm-mm.
The Sand Ninja. All right.
I watched season 1 of Naruto with a girlfriend
Wait.
12 years ago.
Hold on.
No, is there a druid? Because we can just say the
Oh, fuck,
druid.
it's not a druid. Okay, there's a guy. Damn it, he's got a big jug on his back. Is that an Akatsuki? Is that what that
No,
is?
nope,
Nope, not
and
even
you-
close.
Nope. I mean, you guys are both talking about Gara right now.
Oh,
so
beans.
no, that's fine. But I guess that means you can't answer the other question of did the Uchiha deserve it?
Yes.
Oh,
No, yeah, we can answer that.
Yeah, we can.
Yeah, they
definitely
did.
say- absolutely.
Oh, wow.
I don't know
well,
anything about
You-
it, but I
you wanna
bet
look
they
that
did.
up
That's-
yourself? Let me know what it is? Yeah,
Nope.
okay.
mm-mm.
Well, the mass merger of the Uchiha has been approved by the gentleman of the WAK podcast.
Yep. See, that's why I shut the fuck up. I knew something was coming. I didn't
Definitely
say it.
deserved it.
I
They were probably
approve-
barbarians.
I approved you on the sole basis of using Force Lightning earlier. I don't think that my position has changed in the slightest.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. That's very anti-paladin of you.
Thank you.
Stillhat would like to know what's in your trunk.
Well, junk is the obvious answer.
Disc golf discs currently.
No.
Probably a goblin mask or two, which have milk jug skulls, or the skulls of them are made from milk jugs because it's thermoplastic. Yeah, I think that's it. I think I cleaned it out the other day.
Okay.
I'm taking a much more pragmatic approach. My son got entirely too many gifts for Christmas, so I'm sort of doing a slow drip. So Christmas presents are in my trunk. I got some Tinker toys and I think a Minecraft Lego set still.
All right. So, Sir Flo, was there any room outside of the junk to get more into your trunk?
In my
Or-
trunk? No, not really.
There's
Um,
literally nothing in his trunk. He keeps his car so ruthlessly clean. There's not shit in there.
I do. I had there is nothing in my trunk, but there's a story as to why. I had a vehicle. It was a 2003 Toyota Echo
Mhm.
I think it's so silly.
that I drove around forever. We put over 300,000 miles on it. When it finally died, it had 380,000 miles, and we destroyed that car. Like, we carried full 5-gallon things of Gatorade in it that spilled everywhere. We carried ourselves in it, having not showered, coming home from a events. It was
Really,
constantly
your gloves is the problem for that, not
Yeah,
the not showering.
It really was my gloves that were a big problem.
When
We
you
packed
lost
people
them for a
in.
week in there. That
We
was the killer.
we folded one of the seats down and actually literally packed someone into the car so that all of us could get to an event. But I decided when I got a new car that I was never going to do that to another car again. And so I go and clean my car pretty regularly now.
Mm, well, you're going to disappoint the KOK viewers, but that's fine. I have more questions. Cabbage, this one is for you, or at least you get to start it. Your favorite conspiracy theory?
Oh man, it's either got to be the bats or the moon thing. We never went to the moon. I don't even believe in the moon. Same thing with bats. It's just the backside of the sun.
Okay, Teflon.
I can't remember if it's I think it's called Project Rainbow. It's where the destroyer ship kind of teleported from one harbor to another. And
degauzed,
yeah.
gauzed,
And
yeah.
then there were crew that were
That's
found.
the Philadelphia experiment.
Yeah, the Philadelphia experiment. That's it. Yeah. And there were crew that were inhabiting this space of walls and stuff like that. So you had half people hanging out of the walls and things like that. So yeah, that's my favorite one.
Yeah, that scene in Pirates of the Caribbean where they're like part of the ship, part of the crew, and they're all like fused.
Yeah,
to the boat.
yeah.
It's like that.
It's exactly like that.
Okay, does it have to be a conspiracy theory in the real world, or can it be an Amtgard conspiracy theory?
Definitely do the Amtgard one.
Well, I mean, this is an Amtgard adjacent podcast. Go ahead.
Okay, so my favorite conspiracy theory comes from, I'm going to say my own kingdom, but I'm actually just extending this to every single kingdom in Amtgard because I'm sure every kingdom faces the same thing. Anyone who ever gets into office is part of a secret cabal that is much like the Illuminati.
Yeah, it's a Facebook group.
Yeah, that controls the world, or at least the world of Amtgard.
Mm-hmm.
Everything that they do is directed by a small group that is...
That's a messenger group.
Yeah,
that's in the Facebook group. But
yeah, it's directed by a small group, which is always not the group that the person proposing the conspiracy is a part of, but a group that is well known enough to likely always have someone in office. And anything that they do that is good is just meant to further the good of that group, to make it more likely that you'll vote more of their group members in. And anything that they do is bad is proof that the secret cabal has finally gone too far and their nefarious plans are coming to fruition.
Oh, so you guys have a shadow government too?
Everywhere, I think, does.
Oh.
It's always something. It's so silly.
I'm gonna cut you in on the real secret here.
No monarch knows what the fuck they're doing. It's so terrifying all the time. You can agree with me on this. It's terrifying. I know it is.
I've done 6 years in the army and was married for 10. No, this is not the most terrifying thing that's ever happened.
Okay, fair.
Yeah, no, actually, the last GOTC that we got to do in person, Muse from the Burning Lands wanted to have that conversation of that exact conspiracy theory. And he took the corner with me at the same time the Circle of Monarchs were beginning to meet. And I'm like, that's the shadow government. And got really excited. But yeah, that I like it. Okay. All right. What character from Scrubs do you most identify with?
Oh, this is your question. Hey, can you do this all on your own?
I can't. No.
Yeah, just pick us for it.
I have seen every episode of Scrubs like 35 times. This is not a joke. I have thought about this so much. I put so much thought into this. Okay. You're the janitor.
Yeah.
Sorry, bud. You, Jeff, you're Sean.
Which one's Sean?
Nobody cares, Sean.
Yeah. That's probably me.
And I kind of fashion myself as a little bit of an Elliot, just because I'm kind of fucking spastic.
Okay.
Oh,
I can see that.
All right.
so I wanted to be the lawyer.
Oh, he's good
Ted?
too. I like Ted.
Yeah, I wanted to be Ted.
None of us are Ted.
One of these is when I'm sad. One is when I'm really sad.
Kevin, I appreciate you for actually having a legitimate answer there. Are we outside of the TED comment? Are we in debate here still? Is Teflon Sean for sure?
Teflon Sean for sure, yeah.
Okay. It's good thing I was waiting for Teflon to say something, so I'm like, Sean, it doesn't matter.
Right,
But-
right. Yeah, no, I saw that one.
Nobody
I
cares,
saw that
Sean.
one set up. I was good.
Damn it. Okay. All right. What would be the worst buy one get one sale at AmpGuard?
Buy one
Flo's
COC,
gloves.
get one free.
No, I still go with Flo's gloves. Final answer.
Buy one foot fungus, get the second free.
Right? I haven't got an AmpGuard related foot fungus before, so I'm
Yeah, neither have I.
You've been doing
But
it
Flo's
wrong.
gloves are terrible. Like,
Put your feet in Flo's gloves. Maybe
so
that'll do it.
this is kind of the weird thing. I don't remember who the other person was, but so Squeak had a biohazard bag that she had brought for, I think, Flo specifically for his gloves.
Yeah.
But she prefaced it with like, here, hand me your gloves to make sure this is worth it. And she buried her face in it. We all thought she was dead. And she's like, no, someone else's gloves are worse. You don't get this. So she gave it to whoever it was the worst smelling gloves were. We could not believe what she had done.
Yeah, my gloves are notoriously bad.
okay. All right, let's try to keep this at least PG-13 on the next one. Kevin,
Okay.
I'm looking at you.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm, yep.
I'm
Weirdest
disappointed.
thing a guest has done in your house.
Good night,
Oh,
folks.
I was right.
God, I don't know. Okay, no, actually this happened recently and Bunch thinks I didn't notice. We had some folks over. I was actually doing a bread making class. I was giving out sourdough starters and everything like that. And we did, fight some in the backyard. Didn't notice until we lost you. You're holding very still.
I don't know if we lost. Are you on the feed? I saw you had the feed up earlier.
Well, it's a few minutes behind.
Ew.
We'll give them a second to come back because I don't know if they're getting any of this.
Everybody dance.
No, because if they can still see us, they'll see me dancing, and that's not.
Oh no, I think we lost him.
Beans.
Oh yeah, that's right. Oh,
Yep, nope,
yeah,
we lost it.
totally 100% lost it.
Okay.
Yeah, just shoot him a message real quick.
I know my phone was blowing the fuck up. I don't know what's going on about that. 111.
What's going on?
Just chat that we're in has a crazy amount. Okay, so yeah, do we just?
Well, I don't know, because currently. Burped.
Oh, wait.
Are we,
All right,
come
I'm
back?
back.
Hey,
Oh, there you
we
are.
go.
This episode brought to you by Comcast.
I don't know if you got to hear me say goodnight, folks, but we did not actually turn the internet off after that. That was just poor timing.
Okay, weirdest thing someone has done in my house. And this is recent. Bunch doesn't realize it happened. We had some folks over. I was actually doing a sourdough making like bread class, and we were fighting kind of in between like proofing and stuff. And I only found out because my 7-year-old read it on the fridge. We have all these fridge magnets because we're doing spelling and all that. And he just spelled out sharded real big across my fridge. And my kid's like, Dad, what's sharded? I'm like, oh God. So Bunch, it was either you or one of your beltlings, and I will get my revenge.
No, it wasn't me this time. I'm often the instigator of things like that, but no, it wasn't me this time.
Teflon, do you got a short story or?
Short story. Short story.
Fortunately, no. So Lexi is weird about having people over, so we actually don't have people over very often. However, Flo stayed in one of the rooms that we had for a little bit, and so Alexis would come home. She works like seconds, so she comes home real late. Me and Flo are nothing but our underwear, talking to each other, like leaned up again in the middle of the house. And she had came home and just like, I should be weirded out by this, but with you two, it makes perfect sense. So I'm just gonna go to bed, and walk
Straight past
Yes.
us.
Well, Sir Flo, this leaves you in an awkward position because
No.
you were the answer of someone else's. Go ahead, take your own.
So I used to have a lot of parties over at
I didn't even think about
my
that.
place.
Yeah.
So I had my own place when I was 18, and I joined Amp Guard right at 18. So everybody came over to my place to do the parties. And let's see, keeping it PG-13 is going to be the hard part.
Yeah. There's a lot of stories from that.
We turned on a video late at night on one of the channels that you have to pay money for.
Disney Plus.
No, it wasn't Disney Plus. I worked for the cable company at the time and got every channel for free. And this was a mock of Lord of the Rings called Lord of the G Strings. And about 25 people packed into my living room on a wraparound couch and sitting in the floor all watched this together and MST3K'd the entire thing.
You did very well to keep that PG-13. I must admit.
And y'all were worried about me. Okay.
We're always worried about you, Cabbage. We're always worried about you. Okay.
If you haven't seen that, by the way, I highly recommend it. One of the main characters is Smirnoff the Wizard. And his explanation for them losing the ring was he might have gotten drunk and just told a bunch of people about it.
I don't know if I'm recommending KFK viewers go look it out, but moving on. Still, I would like to know how many chickens would kill one elephant?
None. I don't think they're smart enough to do it.
That's the wrong answer. Hold on.
I mean, there's the simulation with the T-Rex and the chickens thing. I get it, but that's just like a mass thing, right? But I don't think they're smart enough to do it. Fucking hate chickens. They're dirty, nasty birds.
Exactly one.
Or, well, I'm sorry, not birds. Fronts of bats.
Tiny dinosaurs.
Yeah, I don't remember. Yeah.
Exactly one chicken it would take. And I can even tell you exactly how. When the elephant put the chicken into its mouth, which elephants are well known for, it would choke to death on all of those bones. It's kind of like, dogs. You're not allowed to give chicken bones to your dogs. And you shouldn't give them to your elephants either. I think that's the moral of this story.
Yeah, no, I agree. Don't give your bones to elephants. Yeah. Cabbage, do you have an actual answer or?
Well, I was trying to figure out if I could teach a chicken to use a gun.
No.
I don't think I can, so I'm going to go with Flo's answer. I still think you can kill an elephant with some number of chickens.
No, I think
I'll just
you
leave
could.
it at that.
I mean, it wouldn't really be teaching them if you
Okay.
had the string like somehow or another tethered where they peck the grain or something up.
Put
and then
elephant.
broke the string and did a weight thing and had like a mouse.
Are you building a?
No, we're just playing mousetrap, but with
gold-
chickens
what-
and
You get
elephants, maybe.
you get an enclosed space, preferably made of concrete. You start putting chickens into the room. The chickens will start to get crushed, but eventually the mass of chickens pushing against the elephant will kill it. Now, how many chickens is that? I don't know. There is something in math called a packing fraction, which tells you how densely something can be packed before it can't be packed any further. And I was trying to figure out what the packing fraction of the chicken might be.
12 folds.
That's where my head went. And I just decided to abandon that train of thought because now I sound like a crazy person for explaining it.
Oh, but you're our crazy person. And it's so good. Lightning would like to know, would you rather fight 100 duck-sized horses or one horse-sized duck?
One horse-sized duck. I'd fuck it up. I would destroy it.
If we have to keep it PG-13, there's a certain thing of ducks that are very large, and I don't know if I want to deal with that.
One horse-sized duck, and I'm going to have feathered one ever.
I'm going to go with the multiple duck-sized horses. Yeah.
Okay.
They'll crawl on top of you with their little duck feet and
I think it
vibrate
just
like
sounds more
bees until
fun,
you
though.
burn up.
Look, just accept. Okay, first off, you need to mentally be in the space where, I mean, we've been talking to Sword Knights all week. You need to mentally be in the headspace where you know you're going to kill this thing, whatever it is, whatever challenge, right?
Right. Yeah.
So then the question that remains is, how many deaths can your soul possibly bear before it's too much to continue?
Mm,
And for
a
me,
lot.
that is one horse-sized duck because it is one death, and I can get over it pretty quickly.
yeah. The train dilemma is what we just got introduced to here.
I
Right,
did make it
yeah.
the trolley problem, didn't I?
Mhm,
Huh?
yeah.
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 Well, see, if I have a trolley, I can definitely take care of 100 duck side horses.
That's a good point.
All right. Still, I would like to know, what alien race from Dragon Ball Z do you most identify with?
Does Krillin count? I hope.
No,
I can
Krillin
say-
is a
I know
human.
he's a human, but it's just Krillin for me. I am Krillin. Look at me. I don't know. I always like the Namex, but I don't know if that's the right answer for me. It's probably not. No, they're too honorable.
I'm right now trying to remember if Yajirobe is human or not. I think he is.
Yeah, Yajirobe's human.
I just feel like a Yajirobe on the inside.
You look like a Yajirobe on the outside.
Shots fired.
Well, now that I've been hurt, I'm going to say whatever Frieza is because I feel mean now.
Okay. Sir Flo, do you have an answer for this?
Yeah, I'm gonna. Were we trying to will birds into existence?
Answer the
again
question.
there?
Answer the question.
I'm going to go with Saiyans, but it's not because of my power level. It's because of my hair. Yeah, just purely aesthetically going with the do styles there. I'm going to go with yep.
Okay. I also want to point out that I didn't need to break you guys. You guys are breaking each other, which is working perfectly in my favor.
Working as intended since
Yeah.
2005.
Right? Morgan would like to know, can you, with as much detail as possible, explain why the color of the letter F smells?
Has anybody else in the room ever done acid before, or is it just me?
Is this still PG-13?
Yeah, well, I mean, if we get to 9 o'clock, it starts becoming NR, but
Okay. It's like 10. It's 11 o'clock here, so I forget there's a time
Oh.
difference.
ooh, don't let it be 11 o'clock.
So the answer to the question is obviously yes.
Mhm.
And I really wish that
What?
I
No,
could elaborate.
For you, there doesn't. You can't smell anything.
It's
so
true.
how do
It's
you-
true.
Sir Flo has no sense of smell.
Yeah.
It's actually good. I've been ripping ass on this couch for the past hour.
I really don't have a sense of smell, and most of my sense of taste is gone. But to answer the question specifically, the answer is obviously yes, and I would love to elaborate, but since they are not part of the previously discussed cabal, which I know because they don't already know the answer to that question, I really can't. The Court of Owls will come for me if I do.
Morgan, I know you're the king of GMR right now, but you just got called out, but you might want to look into that.
Everyone knows GMR is not a real position.
Are you running for GMR?
I am running for GMR.
Okay. Morgan would also like to know, if you could meet any famous person in history, who would it be and why is it Freddie Mercury? I wasn't expecting the silence. I'm so
Well,
scared.
for me, I was just a skinny lad. Never really knew no good from bad, but I knew sin before I left my other house where everybody used to go party at. I didn't mean to cry.
No, I'm not. I can't. I have only so much sanity left, and I still have to drive home. It would have to be Freddie Mercury.
Okay.
And only because I really just like I need to see if he looks as much like Rami Malek, like up close, not in pictures. I need to get real close and be like, "You look like Rami Malek," and then see if he's like, "Who the fuck's that?"
Man, I just want to go to that Live Aid concert. So like, if I could just meet him there and be on stage, that'd be cool as shit.
The show must go on, Kodiak.
Oh god, this is great. All right, 5 more questions and we're done. I've
All right.
kept you guys for almost 2 hours.
Oh, that's
Oh no, we'll stay forever.
We did
Yeah.
the same to you. It's fine.
Well, yeah, but we got about an hour of recording. So.
I know, right?
Yeah,
Morgan would like to know, if I ate myself to death, would I be double in size or just disappear entirely?
Disappear entirely, like Pac-Man.
I'm going to go with a more convoluted question here. I think that this is kind of the black hole conundrum, right?
Mm-hmm.
You would start to fold in on yourself, sort of. Who was it that asked this again?
Morgan.
Sort of forming a Morgan donut, perfectly round, and you would end up in the weird like snake eating its own tail sort of thing. But I think that more Morgan would also be appearing at the same time. It kind of depends on how hungry you were and how quickly you were eating.
Oh, all right. Okay. Cabbage, do you got a...
yeah. No, I was kind of where Flo was. You know, did you ever go to the gift shop and get one of those things? It's like a little bag filled with water that you can't quite hold because it's looped in on itself
Mhm.
and it's
God,
slippery.
yeah.
Like you would turn into one of those, which I guess is kind of like a donut.
It's a long donut.
It's more like a sick fleshlight, if we're honest. But
Yeah.
like,
Oh,
sorry, PG.
Okay.
Yeah, my bad.
a Morgan fleshlight is not what I wanted to hear right now.
I don't know that person, and I'm very sorry for what I just did to your name. Yeah, I'm on the same page as Flo, though. I think you'd stay the same in mass, but you'd become this weird tube thing.
Okay. Teflon or...
I mean, I originally was gonna say like, disappear like Pac-Man, but the whole that, I mean, I've been turned. I'm gonna go with their answer because I think it's more correct now.
All right. Way to get talked into an answer. That's great.
Yeah.
Okay. This starts your food section. Stillhat would like to know, does Kodiak deserve poutine?
Yes.
Mm.
Yes, Kodiak absolutely deserves poutine. As a matter of fact, Kodiak deserves 2 poutine.
2 poutine.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Any argument there? Who wants to fight?
No, God, it's hard to argue. Everybody deserves poutine.
Yes.
I turn it down, so you can deserve
Teflon
it.
doesn't eat
Your
anything.
diet
But I
is
won't
just
eat it.
fucking fries. How is that possible? You only eat poutine. It's like 90% fries.
Yeah, but it has stuff on it. I don't want anything.
Gravy.
I don't like gravy.
And cheese that makes a squeaky sound when you bite into it.
I mean, I'm fine with that, but the gravy is what I have a problem with.
Okay, hold on. Because you have basically constructed the white trash version of poutine before. I've seen you get the fries from Taco Bell and pour crap all over them. Is that not just
I do not do that.
you don't eat the nuclear yellow cheese sauce?
No.
Am I thinking of somebody else?
Yeah, it's someone else.
I retract my
Oh,
statement.
geez.
Sorry.
Here we go. Oh.
Now it's awkward. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Now it's weird. Okay. Does Tajima deserve anything?
I don't know who that person is, so no.
I think that Tajima deserves poutine.
Okay.
No.
Yeah,
No, I
poutine
disagree.
really.
No, everyone needs a burrito just smothered with white queso sauce. So that's what they deserve.
If they wanted to deserve something so bad, I should know who they are.
Tajima, Kingdom Prime Minister, you should get on this. You're calling out all of my officers, and I don't know what to do with it.
I'm not doing it on purpose is the worst part.
Well,
Wrong cabal. You guys are in the wrong cabal together. Like you have your cabal on this side. Cabbage is obviously on the other side of the other group.
it's true. Yeah. That it should anti-paladin and paladin be opened, and he was clearly on the wrong side.
No.
All right.
Let it go.
Still has a statement that I need you to follow up with. And the
Okay.
statement is corn on pizza.
Is an abomination.
Disagree.
Yeah.
Disagree. Corn is, corn on pizza. Yes. I don't know if I'm supposed to follow it up with anything. I'll say yes, and then I'll explain my reasoning. Corn is a sweet yellow vegetable, just like pineapples. Pineapple is fantastic on pizza.
Wrong.
Therefore, corn on pizza, good.
I mean, except for corn is a vegetable and pineapple's a fruit. But
Right.
That's the linchpin of my whole theory. You can't take it away.
Do you want to know the most amazing thing? Everything you just said is wrong.
Wrong.
Okay, pineapple on pizza is legitimately amazing.
Wrong.
Corn on pizza, I imagine, would actually be pretty
No.
good.
Listen, I don't know if I can trust you and food considering who you're with, because she put green beans and macaroni, and if that goes with it, I'm just not on board for anything food related.
I don't sign off on my fiance's food choices. We have talked about this in private, and I should not bring it up on the show. That being said, corn on pizza, I think, could fly.
Mm,
And my answer to corn on pizza is moon cheese.
Okay. All right.
Cowards, both of you.
Cabbage, I appreciate you for taking a stance and sticking by it. Thank you so much for that. 3 more questions. Is mayonnaise an instrument?
when you put it on Zeb, it is.
It's an instrument of destruction. You can't knock our TV over.
Sorry. I wasn't ready.
Oh, okay. Any more discussion need to be had here? Because we have the 3-part. One question is 3 parts, and then the final question.
I think we're good.
Yeah, no.
I know this started an argument last time I talked to you guys.
Oh yeah.
Is a taco a sandwich?
Yes.
Yes,
No.
you're wrong.
Wrong.
You're outvoted.
Yeah, the vote doesn't matter. I mean, making an
In what way? Okay, no.
making an ad populist
We've had this before.
argument doesn't make it true.
We've had this before. Make your argument that a taco is not a sandwich.
That's a shifting of the burden of proof.
Okay,
I don't
then I'll
have
prove to you
prove
taco is a sandwich.
that
Hold on.
a taco.
So if we're talking just on composition, a sandwich is some combination of meat, cheese, and sauce contained between carbohydrates. Okay, that's a taco. Okay, if we're going on geometry, a sandwich is again some combination of food contained on at least 2 sides. That's a taco.
Mhm.
I've got you on geometry. I've got you on on composition. Where am I losing you? Like, I'm not even trying to have you. I'm not shifting the burden of proof because I know you read debate crap or whatever. But like, play with me in the space, get in the sandbox, and tell me where I'm losing you.
I'm just building a castle in the corner. Don't worry about me.
Yeah, no, I'd be happy to tell you exactly why you're wrong. If you ever go through the Arby's drive-through, they are on 2 separate portions of the menu, and I think that really speaks for
Arby's is
itself.
wrong.
Arby's is not the arbiter of what is and isn't the sandwich. I worked at a Subway. I am a licensed sandwich artisan, and I'm telling you.
Well, I worked at a Panera, so yeah, definitely 2 fronts.
I'm sorry, but I have seen Arby's commercials, and that deep-voiced man would never lie to me.
That deep-voiced man is a cowboy hat with a personality. What are you doing?
Man, as a kid, I always thought it was a fish, and I knew it was I knew it was a hat later on, but I did think it was a fish whenever I was a kid.
I cannot
I was-
play. Okay, hold on. No. Is a sandwich that you get at Subway a sandwich?
Yes.
Okay. Is a hot dog a sandwich?
Just the hot dog itself?
No, is the hot dog on a bun, that composition that you would get at like a sporting event, is that a sandwich?
Yes.
No, that's a hot dog.
Okay, where's the line? Because the bun is basically the same, okay? The only difference is the thing inside of it, and it's just a hot dog is just tubular bologna.
So if I put a hot dog on regular, square-ish bread, is that still a sandwich?
No, that would still be a hot.
You won't listen to reason. I can't.
I'm really scared here.
You have no reason.
Okay, I need you to tell me the exact line at which at which a hot dog is not a sandwich. Is it the bread? Is it the meat?
This
Is
would be
it-
what's called shifting the goalposts.
It is not. I
in
am
an
trying
argument.
to understand.
We've now moved to hot dogs
Oh my
instead of a
God. He read a
definition of what
Wikipedia article on
sandwich
debates like
is.
5 years ago, and he references it 30 times a day.
It's because he's wrong more than 30
I'm
times a day, and I'm
trying to-
generously not
trying
pointing out
to
every time that he's
understand
wrong.
where you're coming from here. Just tell me at what point it stops being a sandwich, okay? If I were to take a Subway sandwich and I splayed open the bread and scraped all of the food into the trash where it belongs, and then I put a hot dog on it, does it cease to be a sandwich?
Just so you have the Subway bread that you've put a hot dog on now?
Sure.
Not that's just a hot dog with a big bun.
Okay, so you are purposefully, this isn't shifting to anything. You are purposefully redefining what a sandwich is to win this argument. You are not honestly engaging me in an open debate here.
Words are not prescriptive, they're descriptive. They don't have any
And
intrinsic meaning.
sandwich describes some food, some combination of meat, cheese, and sauce surrounded by carbohydrates. Descriptive, I have described a sandwich to you.
Right. And taco also has a descriptive meaning in our culture. They are distinct.
Describe it, please.
So-
they are separate.
Describe hot dog.
But what is it? A rectangle is not a square, and
Define a
all
taco.
Squares are rectangles, right? I feel like it's a subclass of sandwich, and we've just given a name to it.
A taco is traditionally anything served on the menu at Taco Bell.
Okay, your entire definition of foods then is what's served at fast food restaurants.
Yeah.
What does your food pyramid look like?
Well, on the very top is the sandwich that KFC serves.
You're going to die tomorrow.
That's like the chicken.
The double
with-
down.
Yeah, with more chicken stuff stuffed in between that. That's
I
the
just
top
can't.
pyramid.
I can't. I'm not here.
Um,
I'm
Which still
invisible.
qualifies because it's breaded, right? Yeah, it's breaded
Yeah,
chicken.
yeah, that's- yeah.
See, now we're falling into tacos are definitely a sandwich.
No.
Okay. All right. Okay. I still have two parts of this question. This
Oh.
one
Oh no.
Go on.
is oatmeal a stew?
I don't know really what the definition of a stew is.
A stew, okay, a stew is similar to a soup, but it's something to do with the volume of ingredients and whether or not they float in that. So like a soup is ingredients floating in a broth, a stew is ingredients cooked in a broth, but there's less broth.
I'm gonna go with stew then. It floats sort of.
That there's not just one way to make oatmeal.
Or a sandwich.
You have like your real buttery soupy oatmeal, which
Yeah.
in my opinion is the only way to eat it.
Mhm.
But there are some other ways. Like people will take some fruit and toss it into oatmeal that
I
is
mean, I mostly make
that's
them
thick
cakes.
enough that you can stand a spoon up in it.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's me. I like that.
I'm going to say that it's chef choice as to whether it is a stew or a soup.
Wrong.
Mine is a soup.
Okay.
Mine follows all of the definitions of a soup you just gave.
No. You've put this out here that it can be chef's choice and be whatever we want it to be. And I reject the premise of that entirely, because what you just told me was I could take a piece of bologna, wrap it around a piece of cheese and go, beef Wellington. And that's just not, I won't. No.
But
Words have meaning, Flo.
that's not beef Wellington.
Oh my God.
Okay. So the last part of this question, and Cabbage, you might get a win here. Is the ocean a soup?
Yes.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah, on that one.
Hey, we did it.
I still want to revisit the taco thing. I'm mad.
By all means, do that another time.
Yeah. No, it's fine. We have stuff to talk about afterwards.
Last question. And it pertains to something that's going on in Burning Lands and Dragonspine right now. Morgan asks, will you be donating to make sure that all the beards disappear by the end of February? Now, Flo, you have a special little thing that you'd like to say, I'm sure.
Yeah,
Got him, Lucas.
I would.
I roped you into that.
So I tossed out that I will also I am also staking my beard on this further challenge. You have to reach 5,000 total, and you've frozen. So I don't know if. Oh no, you're
Nope,
back.
I'm here.
Um,
I'm here.
You have to reach 5,000 total, and I will shave this beautiful, right here. So I want to see money raised, but at the same time, if we could stop at $4,999 and then donate more after the competition is over, I'd be okay with that too.
So Sir Smiley, if you're in here at this point, I see you posted in the chat. Sir Flo would like to participate at the $5,000 mark for his entire facial hair. If you want to add that, or you want to get a picture, we can get a picture. It's fine. Just so we can add it to it. Thank you so much for that, Sir Flo. Appreciate it. For anyone who is unaware, we're currently raising the money for St. Jude's Children's Hospital. We reached the first goal, which is my beard. So at the end of February, I'm beardless for the first time in a year in 4 months. But that's fine, because now we just got to get to 5. I'm looking at Sir Flo, and I'm just like, oh, I really, really want that beard.
So I'm going to tell a goofy story about this man's beard.
Okay.
When he was getting ready to be knighted, our mutual friend, co-worker, Gillen, Sir Gillen, and much longer time friend of Flo's, but Sir Gillen was like practicing his slap. We still do the buffeting line in Winter's Edge.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, he's strengthening his hands on rice, and he's smacking wood because he's ready, right? He's wanted to buffet this guy and welcome him into knighthood forever. So going through the buffeting line, some people do hugs, some people do a light little tap, whatever. And Gillen, I'm watching Gillen in the line. Every step he shakes a little more. His hands he's like this. And every step is a little more shaky, a little more shaky. Finally, he gets up to him, and Flo knows it's coming. Like, this isn't going to be a surprise. Like, he looks at Flo nods, and Gillen gets in a stance. Like, arms or legs shoulder width apart. He's ready, and he squares up his shot like he's a golfer, and he swings, whoosh, just catches beard.
Yeah.
His Flo's beard goes, whoosh, and that's it. And it's like he walks away, and he's like,
Oh my god, that's great. That's fantastic.
if he didn't have a beard, it would have been better.
I'm with Cabbage. Let's get that beard. So Neverwinter has this now. This video is viewable for them at this very moment. This
Winter's
was
Edge.
shared. Winter's Edge. Why do I keep doing that?
We used to be Neverwinter not that long ago. It's fine.
Yeah, we were.
Okay. Winter's Edge.
Yeah, I think this has been posted onto our
It's on the Kingdom page right now.
So,
Yeah, so if any of you guys are listening, this is a great cause. St. Jude's Hospital is an awesome charity. Please go donate if you have the ability to do so. And if we can reach the goal, you may see me shave on semi-live broadcast.
I'm not sure that he has a chin, so I want to find out.
It's just the backside of a bat.
Oh, so that's what's on the other side of him.
Okay, fantastic. All right, if you could just bear with me, guys, for a brief minute, I'll give my announcements, and then we'll sign you off. Thank you for being on. Dragonspine, Burning Land members, remember that we have the RP page that we're doing with jointly between kingdoms. You should check that out. On Saturdays, we're having our normal park day meetings, which do now include Sir Anatol's dojo at 11. If you attend all of his dojos, you can enter that once we open up again. Lady Stillhat is doing the Regents challenges. Dame Annabelle is doing the Champions challenges. There's still arts and science being done. Kingdom of Kodiak is still going on. There's a special thing happening to Kingdom of Kodiak, but you don't get to know about that right now. I'm just going to put it out there. Guys, thank you so much for coming on today. Where can my viewers check you out?
So we have a Facebook group called WAK, a LARP podcast. That's spelled WAK. We're also on YouTube. We're working on getting a vanity URL. But if you search WAK, a LARP podcast in Spotify, Apple Podcasts, whatever your podcatcher of choice is, you'll catch us there. Find us on Facebook too. We've got all the links there.
Fantastic. You guys should really go out and check them out. They've talked to some of the same people that we've talked to on KOK. A different format. Instead of asking the goofy questions, they're actually getting some real information out of these people. So give them a listen. Also, they're now friends of Bears, so we should hook them up. Go follow, subscribe them on YouTube. So again, guys, thank you so much for coming on. I do appreciate you. Hopefully, I broke one of you at least.
We need to have a talk about tacos after this. We're
Thanks
not
for
done.
having us.
Yeah,
Yeah,
thank you
thank
so
you.
much.
Not a problem. Until next week, this has been King of Kodiak, and I'm Kodiak. Goodbye.